making a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Talk.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Welcome to the March 24th, 2025, Monday edition of the DarkDox Digest with your host, Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox
Digest.
Happy Monday, everyone. Once more, one more week in the bucket. I am your host, Christian Coffins, and today we are going to be talking about ASTROTURF. Grass needs roots to be real. You thought you were going to fool us. You thought wrong. We're going to get into it. ASTROTURF is a term for involving the publishing of opinions or comments on the internet, in the media, etc., in that appear to come from ordinary members of the public but actually come from a particular company or political group as a way of making it seem that the product, policy, opinion, etc. is very popular and has lots of public support. Allowing lobby groups to raise money without disclosing donors makes it easy for them to mount ASTROTURF campaigns. She argued that the change would enable ASTROTURF groups posing as grassroots organizations to pressure and bully schools according to their agendas. This article from the UCLA, what is the difference between political grassroots and big interest ASTROTURF? How corporations from Verizon to Walmart manufacture citizen lobbyists. Goes on. And we've been seeing this for a long time. And now, you have very out in the open operations like crowdsondemand.com. Crowds on Demand is your home for impactful advocacy campaigns, demonstrations, PR stunts, crowd for hire, and corporate events, services available nationwide. We create out-of-the-box campaigns, audiences, and events to make an impact for our clients. So, yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of this. We have been seeing a lot of this. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all of this stuff. They're rent-a-mobs. You can hire these people. Audiences, corporate events, fan displays, protests, rallies, advocacy. Watch Democrat foot soldiers spill the beans on John Podesta's plan to trigger an American civil war. This is all tied into it.
To be the rightful president of the United States, he's an enemy of the nation, and yes, I'd like to see him hung by his feet by a lamppost. So I'm kind of sick and tired of all these Democrats running around talking about, here's what we're going to do to win. Motherfucker, they're not going to let you take office. The only way we're getting Donald Trump or J.D. Vance or his ilk.
Oh, like how the Democrats didn't let Trump take office even though he won, and there was massive voter fraud that has now been confirmed, and I could go on and on.
Out of power is having tens of millions in people in the streets, and we're going to probably have to have a few thousand people die at the hands of cops and soldiers before people get outraged enough to actually force the government to resign.
Beheaded Donald Trump, are you calling for his death?
I am, yes. I believe it's time that the people straight cut his head off.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. I think and I love Colin, and I think towards the end he started to punch a little harder.
Chris.
But it's Ted Cruz. I mean, this dude has to be knocked over the head hard, right? There is no niceties with him. like at all. Like you go clean off on him, right?
Yeah, so that's what we've been dealing with over here on this side of things. Barack Obama was using USAID to pretend to send aid, quote unquote, overseas, but was laundering it to train, rent a riot instead. Mike Benz, founder of Foundation for Freedom Online, recently joined Joe Rogan on his very popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, with over 19 million subscribers. The podcast was filmed several weeks ago, but a clip from the discussion is making the rounds this week on social media. During their conversation, Mike Benz shared how Barack Obama was using money from USAID to pretend to send aid overseas. In actuality, Obama was laundering the taxpayer dollars and using it to train, quote, rent a mobs instead. This is a huge development, but maybe not so surprising considering how Democrats believe they can do anything and get away with it. Mike Benz, millions of dollars that would conceal humanitarian funds designated for Pakistan through Zunzio. And then following up, Barack Obama was using USAID to pretend to send money to a country for aid, instead laundering the money to the Cayman Islands. He was then using that money to fund and train riots for protests overthrowing governments. USAID pumped $1.2 billion as we sponsored the activist groups and these civil society organizations learn how to use Facebook, learn how to use Twitter, learn how to use hashtags, how to coordinate street protests, and so that everyone knows where to go, what street to show up on. You see, it's just unfair. Like, it's fraudulent. It is misleading, and using U.S. taxpayer dollars to do it should be criminal. If you're on next, where Sacred Owls unite. Wife of former U.S. Attorney Matthew Graves, who led the prosecution of 1,500 Jan 6ers, is on the board of Indivisible, which we covered in the past couple episodes. This Soros-funded group is a leading organizer of anti-Trump protests and violent Tesla attacks. Deleted web pages reveal the connection. So they're cleaning shop. You got, let's see who we got. We got Adnan Bahari. We got Bill Dempsey. We got Christy George. And we got Fatima Ghost-Graves. Fatima Ghost-Graves. She looks familiar. I'm just loving how people are actually paying attention now. Meanwhile, we got stuff like this going on in the streets. This continues. If you're on Rumble, we're DarkDox. And if you are on BitChute, we're also DarkDox. Facebook, Christian X Coffins. And we have the Facebook group, DarkDox Network, you can join for updates and camaraderie. WhiteHouse.gov. America is back. Let's see what's gone on since Thursday. Imposing tariffs on countries importing Venezuelan oil. Greek independence, a national day of celebration, not DarkDox related. More investments, more jobs, more money in America's pockets. Trump administration delivers results. Preventing abuses for legal system and federal courts. Yep. Rescinding security clearances and access to classified information from specified individuals. That was on the 22nd. We can stop there. All right, by the powers vested in the President of the constitutional laws of the United States, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, the National Emergencies Act, and Section 301 of the U.S. Code and views of national emergency, declares respect Venezuela in Executive Order 13692 of March 8th, blocking property and suspending entry of certain persons contributing to the situation in Venezuela, as continued most recently in notice of February 27th, continuation of national emergency with respect to Venezuela. President Trump finds that the actions and policy of the regime of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela continue to pose an unusual and extraordinary threat to national security and foreign policy of the United States. The activities of Tren de Agua gang, a transnational criminal organization originating in Venezuela and designated as a foreign terrorist organization, and the specially designated global terrorist organization, has intensified their threat as highlighted in Proclamation 10903. Furthermore, Venezuela is going to destabilizing actions, including its support for illicit activities, necessitate further economic measures to protect United States interests. Preventing abuses of the legal system and federal courts. Lawyers and law firms that engage in actions that violate the laws of the United States or rules of governing attorney conduct must be efficiently and effectively held accountable. Accountability is especially important when misconduct by lawyers and law firms threaten our national security, homeland security, public safety, and election integrity. I like where this is going. Rescinding security clearances and access to classified information from specified individuals. Who do we got? Anthony Blinken, Jacob Sullivan, Lisa Monaco, Mark Zaid, Norman Eisen, Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, Andrew Weissman, Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Cheney, Kamala Harris, Adam Kinzinger, Fiona Hill, Alexander Vinderman, Joseph R. Biden Jr., and any other members of Joseph R. Biden Jr.'s family. Therefore, it is directed every executive department and agency head take all additional actions and necessity and consistent with existing laws to revoke any active security clearances held by the aforementioned individuals and to immediately rescind their access to classified information. Trump also directs all executive departments and agencies to head and revoke unescorted access to secure United States government facilities from these individuals. Good. In Doge news, what do we got? It's funny, like DOGE.GOV is really just x.com/Doge. So they got weekly credit card update, pilot program with 16 agencies to audit unused, unneeded credit cards. After 5 weeks, 298,000 cards have been deactivated. We covered some of that last week. And let's see, 21 hours ago, as of Friday, SBA Gov now requires date of birth collection for all direct loan application, pauses direct loan applications for those under 18 and above 120 years old. One of the loans went out to a 9-month-old, probably imaginary person. I just heard this morning. Basic sanity checks like these are essential steps towards minimizing fraud in government payment programs. And we need accountability. We need arrests for this kind of fraud. And this is why they are targeting Tesla showrooms and Tesla owners. And, of course, DogeQuest, which was taken down. Let's see, Doge, QUE.st. New DogeQuest. It's back up, guys. New DogeQuest Unleashed. This is the ultimate hub for... Okay, that's the same. DogeQuest Unleashed. disrupt the paradigm and accelerate to our decentralized dark web hub where the synergies between Tesla evangelists, and this is breaking, I didn't even know it was back, I was just guessing. This is why you always need to check on these things. And Doge visionary coverage, fostering a revolutionary ecosystem that's off the chain. So they have a tour now. And so yeah, they need to investigate these people. And again, they're referencing the No Trace project. These people are bold. They're emboldened. They feel that they can get away with this. You hear this, Elon? Send this to Elon. Like, clip this out. Data Battle Z, get in here. Data Battle Z, give it up for him. He does our intros and our YouTube shorts. Let's get a short of this because this is breaking right here. It hasn't even been covered on Infowars or anywhere that DogeQuest is back up and still doubling down and pointing to the resources of the No Trace projects. Unbelievable. And so if you haven't watched this episode, we might have to make a whole DogeQuest episode. They would like that, wouldn't they? So yeah, it's a map of the United States mostly, and it shows where all the charging stations are, where Tesla owners are. You can click on them with a Molotov cocktail that you can see right here, and it has it's unbelievable. They have Tesla phone numbers. You know what's interesting though? Does it have the owners? I think they took the owners down. It just has Elon Musk, personal residence. It doesn't have his address though. Interesting. You can just kind of zoom in and be like, okay, it is. Let's see how close you can get. So yeah, they have his. You can't. It doesn't just give you the address. You have to do a little bit of sleuthing. It's on Sugar Creek, between Sugar Creek and Strandford Reserve Place. So you hear this, Elon? It's a threat on your life. They're being cute by not putting your address, but you could just zoom in and get exactly where your house is. And other members of your organization, the Department of Government Efficiency, University of Nebraska-Lincoln, workplace of Shane Ferreter, who is Luke Ferreter's father and lecturer at University. So I mean, yeah, they're not showing the Tesla owners, just charging stations, but before it was showing little cars. They took the cars off, and I bet on the tour version they still have the cars too. So this needs to be investigated. We need to declare this domestic terror. We need to declare the Democrat Party a domestic terrorist organization. And there needs to be accountability. It's just that simple. This happened today, just this afternoon. It was breaking at the end of the Alex Jones show. Tesla showroom in Austin, Texas, targeted with multiple incendiary devices. Infowars is live at the scene. And here's a clip.
I wonder if any of these folks are going to come back here at night and firebomb this place.
All right, everybody. Hi, this is Harrison Smith with Infowars.com, Band.video. We are here live on the scene at the Tesla dealership where earlier today an incendiary device, a homemade bomb, was discovered having been planted. There's not a ton of information about this so far, but I'll give you everything that we know as of yet. And of course, this is typical or in line or as predicted by Infowars. We know they've been staging protests. This is not the first time a bomb has been found at a Tesla dealership. Far from it, in fact. Tesla dealerships have been firebombed, they've been Molotov cocktailed, they've been shot up, all sorts of things. The violence is only increasing with the tacit, if not outright, approval of Democrats in office right now. Why would you take the shot? So this is the Tesla dealership on the north side of Austin at North 183, where earlier today an explosive device, an incendiary device, was discovered by Austin police and was disabled and removed. We expected there to be police presence here, but there wasn't any. And actually, very interestingly, and we'll upload this video to Infowars.com and Band.video later, but we just had to record it. We weren't able to go live. But as we were standing here, sort of just as we arrived, there were other local news stations gathering, setting up their cameras, and this gentleman pulled up in his truck and said, started saying, well, what the hell are you guys doing? What are you doing here? Thinking that we were protesters. He thought, he saw people gathering outside of a Tesla
'Cause of that tie.
dealership, knew about the protest and wanted to come confront them and ask them what they were doing. So very interesting development. We got a great interview with him talking about what Elon Musk is doing, why they hate him so much, and that'll be uploaded to Infowars later. But again, the first I heard of this was from local Austin reporter Dash.
By the way, that Tesla in the background, that Cybertruck, you can see it says Alex Jones edition. That's next month's giveaway at thealexjonesstore.com. Right now, they're giving away a 4x4 Jeep Rubicon, I believe it is, plus $10,000 cash. So go to thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox, and we get 10% of the profits to continue our chopping down 10 hours a day of Band.video into one here at youtube.com/Sacred Owls, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Or documenting ATX on X. He announced a SWAT deployment at a Tesla showroom in Austin a couple hours ago, and I was watching his page, see what was happening. Then a statement from Austin Police Department on Monday, March 24th, 2025 at approximately 8:04 a.m. Austin Police Department officers responded to a found/abandoned hazardous call at the Tesla dealership located here on 183. The officers arrived on scene. They located suspicious devices and called the APD bomb squad to investigate. The devices, which were determined to be incendiary, were taken into police custody without incident. This is an open and ongoing investigation. There's no further information available at this time. So that's the latest from Austin Police Department. They did find an incendiary device. It was discovered, deemed suspicious, and people called the cops. So fair warning to anybody who has a Tesla or who works at anything associated with Tesla. Don't play it. You should play it safe. Don't take it for granted. If you see some suspicious package or anything like that, call the cops. It could just save your life. And, thankfully, the cops were able to respond. They were able to deal with this. The people at the dealership didn't just try to handle it themselves. This could be a very different scene if it had gone another way. I could easily be standing outside of a smoking crater with dead bodies on the ground, because that's where this terrorism goes. They're not just attacking property. They're not just attacking the cars or the building. This is a place where people work. It's near where people live. People are in the parking lot or going to visit and buy Teslas. Somebody could have died if this had not gone the way that it did. So thank God police responded in the correct way, and that the people in Tesla were alert enough to realize that the package that they were seeing wasn't supposed to be there, and it was all handled. This could have been a very situation, and it's going to be. I mean, one of these days.
It could have been a very situation.
And there have been multiple.
I love Harrison. Follow him on X, Harrison H. Smith. And let's get out of the dark house and Doge get back to work. So it's just wild. He posted explosives device found at Tesla dealership. That was the screenshot from the timeline. Police are investigating and have not released any information about the suspects. I wonder if they're trans. That would be the trend here. We'll see. Authorities have discovered multiple incendiary devices in Austin, Texas. This is at a Tesla dealership. Gunther Eagleman posted, who is a swatting victim, one of the many. Now, finally, it's getting some coverage on what was it? Fox News did a whole bit on all the swatting going on, so it's getting some attention. Got the FBI there now, over there at the Tesla dealership. Yep, but this is happening worldwide. DOJ announces charges against Tesla vandals.
Joining me now, the woman herself in the Sunday Morning Futures exclusive, Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi. AG, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Maria. Happy Sunday.
And to you. Let me start with those flights to Venezuela. What can you tell us about Judge Boasberg's ruling and whether or not the Supreme Court is going to get involved here?
Oh, the Supreme Court will get involved. This is an out-of-control judge, a federal judge trying to control our entire foreign policy, and he cannot do it. You know, he dragged us into court on a Saturday without any notice, and then he's continuing these hearings. He's trying to ask us about national security information, which he is absolutely not entitled to. We are appealing. Tired. We will be in court Monday again. We will win. We will prevail. There are 261 reasons why Americans are safer today, and that's because those people are now in an El Salvador prison. And we are going to follow the law, and we are going to protect Americans. You know, there's a reason why Biden's approval rating was plummeting because of the border. There's a reason why the current Democrats' approval rating is at 29%. People want to be safe. This is President Trump's agenda to keep Americans safe, Maria. It's basic public safety. Get these people out of our country as fast as we can. They're not immigrants. They're illegal aliens who are committing the most violent crimes you can imagine on Americans. Murder, rapes. You know, ask the parents of all of these young women who have been violently strangled, raped, and murdered. And we are going to continue to make America safe again because that's President Trump's agenda.
Yeah, and we're going to talk with the NYPD commissioner in a few minutes, Jessica Tisch, and I'm going to ask her about the migrant arrests being down and whether or not it's a complete, impact from the president taking these people out of the city. Does this mean, though, that we've stopped shipping people out of the country as we await for resolution here from the Judge Boasberg ruling?
Well, we're continuing with the legal process, but we're also continuing to arrest people. We're not going to stop arresting these violent criminals. You know, the Alien Enemies Act applies today really more than ever. You know, old law is often the best law if you think about the laws that have been on the books for a very long time. We are in modern day warfare. They have invaded our country, TDA, Tren de Agua. They are organized. They have a command structure. They are sending money to each other throughout the country and out of the country back to support their terrorist actions. It's modern day warfare, and we are going to continue to fight that and protect American citizens.
Yeah, so I mean, I like all the stuff she's saying, but I mean, I am with Owen Schroy over at Infowars, where
every single
he's
step of
really
the way.
Frustrated because she said that the Epstein documents were on her desk, and they were not. That was a lie. So, you know, we have very little patience and very little trust going, on right now. And again, I like the lip service, and she has a pretty face, looking a little rough, and I get it. It's a stressful job. I hope she's doing that stressful job. But we shall see. We need results, and we need them fast, because they're accelerating. They are. This ASTROTURF is a real problem. Another real problem is Disney's communist Snow White dumpster fire. Let's take a look. John Down report.
Disney's 2025 live-action Snow White remake is a full-on assault on the innocent 1937 classic.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird. Super weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Rachel Zegler, a Colombian-Polish actress as Snow White, crushes the perceived racist skin as white as snow German fairy tale for a go woke, go broke, anti-white, diversity occultic power trip. The prince and his hetero true love narrative is sidelined for the chronically mentally ill feminazi crowd.
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
It's Disney once again with another $270 million diversity gamble after going in the red from the DEI Little Mermaid flop. 7 dwarves replaced by magical DEI hires, and then, due to massive backlash, restored with CGI.
Because you have Rachel Zegler, who's in Hamas, and Gal Gadot, who's in the IDF. They're stars of the movie, and they're on both sides of the Middle East, and both sides of the Middle Eastern conflict, and there's no dwarfs, because Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones opened his mouth and said, this is up having dwarves in the movie called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So now we got a lot of pro-Palestine, a lot of pro-Israel, and no dwarfs in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
You can't just murder hot chicks because you're an old hag. That is inappropriate.
New friend. Yay. We're no strangers to evil plots by disgusting freaks. Welcome.
Zin is total BS. However, if you'd like to relax in a huge way,
heavens to Betsy, young lady. Get in the house, warm yourself up, and let's draft up a plan to absolutely wreck your idiot stepmom.
Magic mirror, show me the biggest smoke show in all the land.
Hey, Nancy, you lose. Get over yourself.
But the one thing that remains and is amplified is the occult roots. Fast forward from the 1937 version to 2025, and Gal Gadot's Sorceress ramps up the CGI occultism as a centerpiece aimed at further perverting the original 1937 classic, and in the process, the minds of 2025's children. The original music from the 1937 classic Snow White are now American standards, while the 2025 music makes reference to the Communist Manifesto, where Snow White's parents ruled a kingdom for the free and fair, where the bounty of the land belonged to all who tended it. And oddly, there is no mention of Snow White's hairy back in either version, but that didn't stop Rachel Zegler from sharing hers. Would it be too much to ask these twisted satanic pedophiles running your brand into the dirt to read the writing on the wall and just take their ball and go home? Why is there softcore porn and inappropriate dialogue for children on the Disney Channel anyway? Well, because it's all part of the plan. You want diversity, Disney? Fine. Write another classic in the style of the Grimm brothers, if you are able. But leave your bread and butter and these iconic American classics alone. John Bound reporting for Infowars.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now.
I mean, what were they thinking? You know, and I'm a fellow, you know, what was he, Colombian or Venezuelan or something? I got a little bit of both of those. And I mean, so I feel totally confident in saying it's Snow White, not Snow Brown. Like, seriously, guys? You know, like, it's the one movie you can get a white chick because it's fucking called Snow White. Like, it's in the name. But, you know, what do you expect? These people just double down. Here's Rachel Zegler, you know, being Rachel Zegler.
Vote for Kamala Harris. And it's actually non-negotiable. Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights. Come on. Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business. Thanks. Vote.
Oh my god. Okay, so that face right there. Hold on. Where's one?
Just hit the unfollow. Come on.
All right, that one right there. I'm gonna get out of the Black House, and then I'm gonna type in San Francisco Gay Choir. How do you spell choir? It's a weird word. Choir, we're coming for your children.
As we celebrate Pride on the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done.
It's like a certain face he makes. Oh, it's so creepy. 1.4 million views. It's just the same creepy, vacant. Anyway. I gotta see them side by side. Okay, got this one. Hold on. They need to make this easier. Got that, and then we got that. I'll get rid of me.
Warn about San Francisco. Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children.
Yeah.
We'll make them tolerant and fair.
At first I didn't get why you'd be so scared of us turning your children into accepting, caring people, but...
We'll convert your children. Oh, man. So what we're dealing with here, folks. Snow White Bombs breaks record for lowest live-action remake opening. Nurse punished for saying Mr. to transgender pedophile. A National Health Service nurse taking legal action against her employer after she was punished for calling a convicted criminal Mr. in a contravention of his preferred female pronoun. I see. Contravention. They're just words. I mean, don't we have a First Amendment? I can call you a faggot. You can't fucking arrest me. You can't, what are we doing here? I can call you an asshole, a cuck, a bitch. I mean, what are we doing? For some comic relief, they played some of this morning on the American Journal. Ask America with Edgar, x.com/puppet Edgar. National Public Radio headquarters in Washington, D.C.
NPR has a huge liberal bias. Desperate to keep government funding, they got Sesame Street to help. But isn't it about time to expose my fellow Muppets for their crimes against humanity?
Elmo, are you a globalist? Are you a globalist, Elmo? Big Bird, why were you on Epstein Island, Big Bird? Answer me! Or are you yellow? Count! Jimmy, count! Wait, I want to talk to the count! Get out of the way! Count! Count! How many abortions? Count!
Yes, you're part of HBO.
Count! How many abortions have you made Abby Cadabby have? Count! How many abortions have you forced Abby Cadabby to have?
Can he count?
Why is Abby...
Ask him to count. Can he count?
Yeah, can you count? 1, 2, 3 abortions you forced your lover, Abby Cadabby, to have? Why did you have sex with her under the tiny desk? Come on, count! Fess up! Elmo! Elmo! Shut up, lady, I'm talking! Bitch, wait! Elmo, why are you a globalist? Elmo, why do you propose the Diddle Me Elmo doll? Big Bird, did Snuffleupagus strangle Jeffrey Epstein? Tell me now! Don't run away from me or you're yellow! Answer me now, Elmo! Are you a globalist? Have you ever been to Epstein Island? Big Bird, did you commit atrocities in Nigeria? Were you part of a genocide, Big Bird? Do you renounce jihad, Big Bird? What is your body count, literally, Big Bird? How many people has Big Bird murdered? I want to know! Don't run away from the free press! Wait! You're supposed to be part of public media! Why are you running away? You are one fertile vampire! And you've been to Epstein Island! You're on the flight logs! How dare you! You're a globalist, Elmo! Shame on you! Diddle me, Elmo, indeed! Don't you touch me, old lady! Don't you touch me! That's assault! Get the hell out! Oh, look! Hey!
I love it.
Why is NPR populated by wine moms? Wine moms!
Oh, fantastic. This guy is going places. I love it. As a fellow puppet show host here at DarkDox I approve. It's fantastic. Need to check in more on that. France wants its statue of Lucifer back. John Bowne report.
The French are stirring the pot and demanding the Statue of Liberty back. A center-left French MEP, Raphael Glucksmann, is throwing a tantrum, claiming America's gone rogue under Trump, siding with tyrants and torching the values that made Lady Liberty a gift worth giving in 1886. Glucksmann says, "We gave it to you as a gift, but apparently you despise it, so it'll be just fine here at home." Of course, the statue of Lady Liberty has come to represent everything the Trump administration is fighting for, and New York City already lost the Twin Towers. Lady Liberty is a bridge too far.
Video cameras caught trucks arriving at the World Trade Center from about August 23rd until every night until about September 2nd, September 3rd. And the trucks were arriving at about 3 o'clock in the morning when everybody else had left the building, including the janitorial trucks. And the trucks were leaving at 5 a.m. right before the AAA personalities of Wall Street got to work to start their day. Something was brought into that building that would help with the detonation. There may have been work done on the detonation before. It may have been going on for months, but whatever they needed at the very end, they came and brought in that 10-day period. That's what we think happened. The airplane hijackings were a cover for the controlled demolition, which was undertaken by a small group of people, probably just 4 or 5 people. We are never going to know who they are, and it's not worth looking for them. And in August of 2001, I was told to stay out of New York City because the attack was considered imminent. We expected mass casualties and a possible miniature thermonuclear strike, a bomb. However, I want to be very clear. The attack was always defined as airplane hijackings and a strike on the World Trade Center.
It isn't a symbol of globalism to the majority of Americans, as Glucksmann appears to have twisted its meaning in his tiny Trump derangement syndrome brain. But Glucksmann has raised a nagging question. The Statue of Liberty was designed by French Freemason Auguste Bartholdi and gifted in 1884. Perched atop a star fort, bathed in the glow of the moon and stars, stands the Statue of Liberty, a monument dripping with occult fingerprints. That torch blazing in her hand, as intended by its creator, it's no beacon of freedom to him. It's the flame of forbidden knowledge handed down by Lucifer himself to keep his cult alive and kicking.
Yeah, so, it's a good video as usual from John Bowne, about 5 minutes. We covered this in quite some depth on January 16th in our episode Statue of Lucifer here at youtube.com/Sacred Owls if you want more information. Democrats' favorite influencer, Harry Sisson, accused of tricking 11 women, including an abuse survivor, into sending explicit photos via Snapchat. Gross. Receipts of Harry's snaps. They got receipts. I'd fuck you raw after wine tasting, but that's just me. The verdict is you look sexy as fuck. Court adjourned. Scandalous. Viral video of crazed Democrat falling on her face attempting to steal a MAGA hat is emblematic of the Democratic Party's total collapse.
Well, this is my stuff. I hope you enjoy the hat.
That is completely emblematic of the Democratic Party and everything they're doing going
Face
to complete
down,
crap.
ass up.
Democrats of 2025 summed up. falling flat on their face.
Illinois police cleared in fatal shooting of chainsaw-wielding man at seniors assisted living facility. Hell's bells.
Keep right there, fire.
Units incoming. Can you step it up?
Hey!
Incoming units.
Hey! Hey, drop the taser. Drop the taser. Or drop it. On the ground. Get back!
Feels like Resident Evil.
Hey, drop. Hey. Hey. Step it up. Hey, drop the chainsaw. One at taser point.
This is wild.
Oh my god. Hey, drop it!
Oh.
I got one at taser point. Step it up.
This is a good example of why chainsaws aren't an effective battle weapon. They never start when you want
Step
to.
it up.
Need to hear from my lady. Where is she?
Step it up.
Where's my?
Drop it.
I just want my wife, man. I just want. Listen, man. I don't want to.
Oh, there it is.
Taser up one. Taser. Hey. Hey, right here. He's right here.
Come on. Get him out. Come here. He's not even outside. Oh, shit.
Shots fired!
Attention all outreach units.
Damn.
We're going to St. Charles.
Drop it! Get him over.
North Avenue in St. Charles. Attention all outreach units. Special attention St. Charles units. Shotgun dispatching is shots fired.
Wild.
At 975 Northwest Avenue. We're going to
Police officers who shot and killed a man who was wielding a chainsaw inside a seniors assisted living center in St. Charles, Illinois in December will not be facing any criminal charges. King County prosecutor announced on Tuesday Daniel H. Esquerra of Stockwell, Indiana, was shot and killed by police at a River Glen of St. Charles assisted living facility on January 1st, 2024. Kane County State Attorney Jamie Mosier's office reviewed an Illinois State Police investigation of the shooting and announced Tuesday that the shooting was justified and none of the officers involved will face any criminal charges. Good. Democrat Representative Crockett says party should punch GOP, knock Ted Cruz over the head. We saw that, yeah.
I think that you punch. I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. You know, I think and I love Colin, and I think towards the end he started to punch a little harder. But like, it's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head like hard, right? Like, there is no niceties with him. Like, at all. Like, you.
Like, is
you
she
go
out of her
clean
fucking
off on
mind?
him, right?
She
I
knows
think
exactly what she's doing. Pam Bondi sends warning shot. Far left Representative Jasmine Crockett over unhinged threats to Elon Musk. She needs to tread very carefully. Yeah. If you like what we do, check out darkdox.me/shop. We got projectors, we got MP4 players, we got thumb drives loaded with over 100 documentaries about all of this stuff and much more. Declassified federal documents, ebooks, and much more. We got t-shirts, we got movies that we have actually produced ourselves, like Sacred Owls, They Are Here to Save the World, where we went to the Bohemian Grove, Boys Town, Nebraska, to the Georgia Guidestones before they were demolished, and much more. We also made comic books called Tales of Terror about the Franklin cover-up and Boys Town, Nebraska, and much more. Definitely check out darkdox.me/shop, or just simply scan this QR code if you have Cash App and you just want to throw me a couple bucks because you like this show. Because we're not AstroTurf. We don't get any money from George Soros or any other funny money campaigns. However, we are affiliates of thealexjonesstore.com/darkdox, and if you purchase anything at that URL, we get 10% of the proceeds to continue fighting the Infowar, and we greatly appreciate it. Right now, they have a super sale, 15% off t-shirts, 40% off supplements, and 20% off hoodies. They have a new The Spartan Classic Trench Dagger, and there's a limited stock. It's 25% off, $150. And then I think they have like a package with a t-shirt. Did they already get rid of that? Let's see. Yep, the package has been sold out. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, Tip of the Spear t-shirt bundle. If you are going to get it, club members only pay $129.42 instead of the $161.77. So if you're going to get the knife, $10 more, get a free t-shirt too. I mean, $10 t-shirt, whatever. But if you're a club member, yeah, I mean, it's just over $100. Has the Skull Crusher and the brass knuckles, but really it's a paperweight or a hand shield, whatever you want to call it. What's really sweet about this knife is that on the back side it says Infowars, and the front it says Tip of the Spear, has a Spartan on there. It's pretty rad. In Ukraine, Vice President Kaja Kallas of European Commission opposes ceasefire and peace deal in Ukraine, insists Russia be defeated, Putin deposed, and Russia broken up. Yeah, okay. She wants World War III. Mia Love, trailblazer and first black Republican congresswoman, dies of brain cancer at age 49. Mia Love was the first black woman elected to Congress as a Republican and has died at age 49. In a post on the X platform, Love's family confirmed that she has passed away following a long battle with brain cancer. Tragic. You can follow this at Mia B. Love on X. Never heard of her, but I'm sure she'll be missed. Delightful smile. Redux.info, prominent Chilean trans activists receive support from Pro-NAMBLA, that's the National Association for Man-Boy Love, homosexual liberation org head, despite being exposed as a child rapist. Redux has learned that a prominent Chilean trans activist recently revealed as having raped a boy has been promoted and supported by one of the nation's leading LGBTQIPPK+ groups, and that's its founder had previously defended the North American Man-Boy Love Association, otherwise known as NAMBLA. Rolando Jimenez, founder of Movil, or El Movimiento de Integración y Liberación Homosexual, which has received government funding, provided financial support to pedophile Maria Lopez Barria, formerly known as Rodrigo Alejandro Lopez Barria, for his trans activism. Movila is one of Chile's leading LGBT activist organization and has received over 279 million pesos from the government since 2001. The activist group has also received funding from the European Union and countries such as Norway, the Netherlands, and Spain. According to its website, Movila was created June 1991, and the following year was adopted into International Lesbian, Gay, and Trans and Intersex Association, or ILGA, which has worked under the United Nations to campaign for changes to laws and policies since 1993. We need arrests. And NAMBLA needs to be broken up, not Russia. Bernie Sanders shocks supporters, praises Trump's border security. Nobody thinks illegal immigration is appropriate. Yeah, okay.
On the
Where have you been the past
More
8
than
years?
30,000 people showed up for their joint appearance in Denver.
Look,
ASTROTURF.
as you know, when you run for president, you do a lot of rallies.
Sup, Mendo
We have
Brendo?
A lot of big rallies. 32,000 people here is by far the largest rally I have ever done. And nobody's running for office. That tells you something.
So what are you trying to accomplish with this tour?
I'm trying to make
you
it
paid
clear
for
to the people
activists.
throughout the world and throughout our own country that the American people are not going to sit idly by and allow Trump establish an oligarchic.
Blah, blah, blah. So why this is important is later on in the interview, Sanders got visibly annoyed and brought the exchange to a close. Link in the description, by the way, if you want to watch this whole thing. It's like 8 minutes. To a close after he was asked about his own political future. Right now, I'm a Vermont senator, he said. That's what I do. I'm very happy to do it. I am 83 years old of age and I'm tired. His remarks came as he and fellow socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are traveling America with their Fight Oligarchy tour, which is attracting huge numbers of left-wing faithfuls at a time of Democratic energizing is at an all-time low. The tour is mainly a response to push back against Elon Musk's efforts at the Department of Government Efficiency, where he's aiming to make over $1 trillion in cuts to the federal budget. They should definitely bring up the AstroTurf thing here, because there's now investigations going on into cell phone records that more than 90% of the people that are going to these rallies, it's the same people over and over, city after city. Family can sue school district that injected son with COVID-19 jab without consent court rules. Thank God. North Carolina Supreme Court rules lower court violated mom's constitutional right to make medical decisions on behalf of her son. This is a good precedent. The majority conservative court 5-2 ruling last Friday allowed mom Emily Happel's suit against the Guilford County High School, which jabbed her then 14-year-old son Tanner Smith in August 2021, to move forward, reversing an appeal court previous decision halting the lawsuit, citing the Public Readiness and Emergency Preparedness Act, or PrEP Act. Yeah, I mean, this is completely unconstitutional. My body, my choice, right? Rosie O'Donnell claims Trump won swing states because Musk owns the internet. Let's watch.
You know, a lot of people did vote for him.
Yes.
Do you accept their right to do that and their opinion of him?
Well, I respect their right to do that. I question why the first time in American history a president has won every swing state and is also best friends, and his largest donor was a man who owns and runs the internet. So I would hope that that would be investigated and that we would see whether or not it was an anomaly or something else.
I miss her when she
that
was a
happened
9/11 truther,
on election
you know?
night in America, when Kamala Harris was filling up stadiums with people who supported her, and Donald Trump was not able to do that.
Paid off.
So it's curious to me. And as an American and a believer in democracy, I would hope that we would be able to...
This is not a democracy, it's a republic, and you are AstroTurf, Rosie. AstroTurf. Your ass is grass. High-level FBI whistleblower exposes secret FBI espionage program sinking to jail Alex Jones.
Holy cow. They classified us as a national security threat, and they're allowed to follow us around in public. And as far as I understand this kind of complicated document that I'm looking at as a layman, they have to reevaluate us every 30, 60, and 90 days to keep us in this status. So that means that there's got to be tons and tons of documents. And I don't understand whether we had to go through a 1 assessment into a 2 assessment to get to a 3 assessment. I don't know any of this infrastructure. All I know is what I was able to research for like an hour and a half after I got these documents. So can you tell me and the audience what the hell a type 3 assessment is, please?
Absolutely. So a type 3 assessment is the lowest level of investigative activity that the FBI is able to authorize certain types of files being stored. So that means that there actually is an investigation. It's referred to as an assessment. And above an assessment is a thing called a preliminary investigation. Beyond that, you'd have a full investigation. Usually what happens is assessments generate full investigations. You can have single assessments that carry on for years, maybe even decades. They can be on domain level threats. So all the types of this kind of thing that happened in the city of Boston, or, drug activity that is subsidized through gang members in this area, right? So you have very kind of nebulous terms. And because it's the lowest level of an investigation, they have the lowest predication required. That's the sort of how we articulate what it is that we are going to do. So a type 3 assessment, there's multiple types. I think there's 6 different types, and they don't actually follow sequentially. They actually break off. So as I recall, and they're not all things that I used, because assessments are almost too low level for most FBI agents to use. They're generally a tool that we find the intelligence sphere using, which is going to be the intelligence analyst. And
yeah, so that's a full 6-minute report on that, and it's disgusting. I'm not going to play this one tonight because we're running kind of what, yeah. But continuing on, John Bound also did a Great Pyramid Free Energy Truth Bomb in February 2025. Researchers, it's very similar to the John Bound one. Goes into a little bit more depth. Let's see, what do we got? Boomer's Gonna Boom. A cute video. It's funny. And yeah, everyone's doing memes of JD Vance. President Trump suggests replacing Pride Month with Veterans Month of Honor. Should do that. Gunther Eagleman posted. Daddle Battle Z. Ben is doing some great exercising. Check him out on x.com/databattlez. And every now and then he flies over into DarkDox. TheAtlantic.com posted, the Trump administration accidentally texted me war plans. U.S. national security leaders included me in a group chat about upcoming military strikes in Yemen. I didn't think it could be real. Then the bombs started falling. If this is true, it's treason for posting this on The Atlantic. And if it's not true, then it's treason to post it on The Atlantic. Pete Hegseth, that's a tongue twister, addresses The Atlantic.
Full workday here as well, and looking forward to it. One question.
Can you share how your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic? And were those details classified?
So I'm
pissed.
Talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning. And you see, we've been managing 4 years of deferred maintenance under the Trump administration. Our troops, our sailors were getting shot at as targets. Our ships couldn't sail through. And when they did shoot back, it was purely defensively or at shacks in Yemen. President Trump said, no more. We will reestablish deterrence. We will open freedom of navigation, and we will ultimately decimate the Houthis, which is exactly what we're doing as we speak from the beginning, overwhelmingly.
Why were those details shared on Signal, and how did you learn that a journalist was privy to the targets, the types of weapons used?
I've heard I was characterized. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Whether or not it's true, that's how you handle that. And to close things off from DarkDox.me, on our sidebar, we have our little DarkDox short section. And this is where I doom scroll late at night and add things I find I would like to share with you at the end of the show.
Now this right here
is an absolute classic.
Why you wore that Trump hat in here? Oh, because I'm a die-hard Trump supporter. In my household, you got Martin Luther King, you got Jesus, and you got Donald Trump. Not in that particular order, but yeah, you got Martin Luther King, Jesus, and Donald Trump. Why you got Donald Trump? Well, I'm a straight Democrat, but I'm for the best person. Oh, yes, sir. Why you got Donald Trump? Oh, because I paid attention in school when I was a kid, and so I know the true history of both the Republican and Democratic Party. I know that they really didn't switch during the Nixon Southern strategy, that one became more clever than the other in dealing with black people. We the Democrats, we got away, we were the Republican friends. We were their friends, but we were the Democrats. When you look at the origins of the Ku Klux Klan, it originated out of the Democratic Party. The Ku Klux Klan? It did. Every civil rights legislation that ever has been passed in this country was authored, written, sponsored, and voted on 100% by Republicans and not Democrats. Every civil rights legislation. Well, what you gonna do? So let me finish. Right. So as a kid, I remember being 6, 7 years old and seeing Donald Trump receiving an award with Muhammad Ali, Rosa Parks from the NAACP. But not only that, he engaged and interacted in our culture from the 80s throughout the 90s and even the 2000s, from rappers to Michael Jackson. So when we looked out into our culture, his face appeared many, many times. So for me to grow up now and hear the media, because before the media started saying he was racist, I never heard a black leader.
Idaho just did something incredible, y'all. The House unanimously passed a child sex abuse death penalty bill. If you do the bad touch to a child under the age of 12, they're gonna cook ya. When is the last time you heard anybody in the United States unanimously agree about anything? I am bricked up for this. The other cool thing is that this bill has mandatory minimums for anybody who perpetrates these types of crimes on minors that are above the age of 12, so it's really doing a lot. If you remember, there are other states that made laws just like this and the Supreme Court cockblocked them. Just weird, because I thought the Supreme Court has been all about kicking stuff back to the states. Idaho basically said that they expect the Supreme Court to change their minds and they're gonna have to go back to court to try to deal with all of this. Basically, they just told them to rub it on their chest. Now there's 5 other states that are looking to pass bills exactly like this one. Holy shit, y'all, have we actually decided to start protecting our own kids in this country? What about pedophiles, human rights? Pedophiles aren't people! Throw them in the wood chipper!
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Accused of setting Teslas on fire could face up to 20 years in jail, the US Attorney General has said. Pam Bondi said the damage that was done to the cars, as well as Tesla dealerships and charging stations across the US, was domestic terrorism. Elon Musk's electric car company...
Yeah, so, things are happening. It's an exciting time to be alive. Chris Hansen, go get the pedophiles. Once more, we're going to turn down and take a moment to appreciate the starry night outside. And we're going to bring down the display capture and swirl around in SeaWorld for a second. It's nice. I'm going to change my size to the regular opening show size. And once more say, this is Christian Coffins signing off. Beware, take care.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. If you value this program, donate what you can at cash.app/DarkDox. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.